Hello and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, we're just jumping right back in. So we did start with breakfast this morning, an egg and cheese omelet for me, Mickey waffles, and my beloved toasted English muffin with butter. That second plate was my mom. She got a little bit more than me, but I don't think she ended up eating it all. So today we are actually in Mykonos, and as you can see, we stuffed our bags full with towels and we were ready to go. So we did not have to wake up quite as early this morning, but we did try to get off kind of semi-early. I believe it was about 9 a.m. when we got off. So as you can see, that little sign was pointing the direction to where we had to go to the shuttle service, which actually ended up being another tender boat. So when we got on the boat, there was actually not a lot of people on there. It wasn't quite as busy at this time, and we were very thankful for that. My mom actually got to have a seat, and in a few minutes we'll show you some scenes of the boat and you'll see where I got to sit. So this was the boat coming into the port. So my mom sat in the back of the boat, and you're going to see that right now with some other people, and I actually sat in the middle of the boat because this was actually a glass bottom boat. So you can see this here. We didn't see much on the bottom, but there were a few fish I think that swam by. So that was about it. And then we were there at the port at Mykonos. So after yesterday, I think I was just so very tired. By the time we got over here to this part, I literally could have sat down somewhere and probably fell asleep because I was that tired. So that's why there's not just a ton of video footage from Mykonos. I do have a lot, and of course I had to include the little cats that we saw. And this was the beach, but I was just really tired this day. So this is right after we got off of the tender boat, and it's this little church. It's very small. You can see inside of it. I don't really know what type of church this was, or really what any of the signs in here said, but I did take a few videos of it. It was a little hard because there were a few other people in here, but it looked very interesting. It looked kind of older, and it was just really nice to see that right off when we got off the tender boat. But this was the main little beach part once you got into, I guess, the touristy Mykonos part. But like I said, unfortunately I just don't have a lot of video footage from this. Of course my mom wanted to go shopping, and I just was really tired, to be quite honest. We did take a look at the beautiful beaches here, and you can see all those little boats and the birds. It was just very, very pretty over here in this area. And then we did walk the streets a little bit, tried to find a few stores to look into. I don't think I bought anything here except for maybe a package of olives, and that was actually when we got back from where we were going. So I'm about to tell you about our excursion for today. So this was not through Disney. We decided to book this through the website and the beach access place itself rather than through Disney. But first, I'm going to tell you about where we had to get a car to even go to this beach. So the only taxi service was this little area, and I don't even think that it was, I'm still really confused about it. I think it was called Hercules, and I will show the business card later on in the video, just not right here. But you can see the chaotic, and that's why I'm even showing this. I'm going to cut the volume down on this main video, but it was very confusing. So we walked in this little building, and there's already a group of people standing there. They were complaining because I don't know what happened, but there was a situation. I guess they didn't get their car, didn't get picked up or something, so they were wanting some money back. Well, we go in there to get a taxi, and it was so weird. It was like we had to go make a schedule for them to come pick us up and then take us there. And so we're actually waiting on our driver, and they're about to come down the hill, and I didn't get that. We got in the car, whatever, gave them the address. Well, our driver was like, I don't even know where you're talking about. I had it in my phone, and that's why I didn't get many videos of on the way there, because I was having to have it in my phone so I could show him where to go. So this, unfortunately, I think this is probably the only taxi option they have in Mykonos. The good news is we got to where we were going, we got there safely, and you can see the scenery here. This was what my mom was recording, and I think we had the same mindset. We were like, we need to both record to make sure that we get whatever happens on camera. We were actually not going this fast. I just have it on 2x speed. And then we arrived at Solomar. So I'm going to show us checking in. But first, here is the business card for the company that we used, and that was the return service. I don't remember how much it was to get there and back, but this was us checking in. And to be honest, if we were to go back to Mykonos again, I would even rent my own car and me just drive myself and do whatever. But this is Solomar, so the Disney excursion priced this at $289 a person, and I believe that did include maybe a beverage and maybe a food option. I don't know for sure, but $289 a person, whereas we got it for. So I actually couldn't find how much it was for the 2 beds and the day pass to Solomar, but I'm thinking it was about 150 euros, which is expensive, but compared to Disney's excursion price of $298, it was a little bit better than that. And I think we got out of Solomar for about 300 euros, and that did include our lunch, which we will show you in just a little bit. So my overall impression of Solomar is that it is a little bit expensive for everything you get. So basically you only get like a lounge bed, and you can see those are pretty nice, but it's a little bit expensive for what you're paying to be there, and it's just a beach. There's a public beach lot right next to Solomar, and anyone, I'm pretty sure, is free to go there, and you don't have to pay. The only thing is that Solomar did provide, they had a bathroom, a place to rinse off, and those beds were pretty nice actually. But it was a very, very high price for what we were actually getting. I do wish I had a little more time to figure out what we could have done in Mykonos rather than go to this beach, because this day we were actually supposed to be in Turkey. So we were supposed to be in Kusadasi, Turkey, but they changed it somewhat last minute to Mykonos just because of the unrest in the Middle East, and Mykonos was just a little bit further away than Kusadasi was, which that was actually going to be Ephesus, and it was going to be really cool. And I was very excited for that day, but we came to Mykonos. This was a very nice beach, though, I will say that. And then we had lunch. This is the beverage list for champagne. Pizza, $4,900 or euro. Champagne. This is the menu. I considered getting this California roll. Then I saw the price for 6 pieces. Oh, they have a milkshake and popsicles and juice. And then Mama got homemade lemonade, and I got the mandarin and bergamot soda. I thought about getting the frappe with ice cream, and I may still do that later. And they also have, of course, alcoholic drinks. These are the non-alcoholic. And that's why we went with the soda. Should have brought our own. This is our food. This is the bread. Obviously we had to get bread. It was €5. Lemonade, orange stuff. This is the vegetarian sandwich. Ooh. Ooh, this looks really good. It's your vegetarian sandwich. It's raining right now, but my thought process is I'm already wet, so I don't care.
This part was fun.
Yeah, it is very cloudy, but it's sunny over there, so I don't think it's gonna last very long. Ooh, and this is my egg and cheese sandwich. This looks really good. So our overall reviews of the lunch was my sandwich was actually pretty good. It was like an egg salad sandwich with bacon on it. I was kind of expecting it to be like a scrambled egg sandwich with bacon, but mine was good. My mom's a vegetarian sandwich. I felt kind of bad for her because she really did not eat much of it. So I ended up sharing my sandwich with her. And we were very glad that we got the bread just to give us something to eat on, because while we did have a very big breakfast, this was really the only thing that we had ate and were planning to eat in Mykonos. I also thought it was really cool that I could found some flounder in the beach and all the fish, and that's basically what this whole video is, which you could probably already tell. Just my videos of in the water, because this is really all I got in Mykonos as far as video footage goes, unfortunately. But going back to my thoughts on Solomar, it was very nice. I just wish I had some more time. So some of the other Disney excursions that were offered was a trip to Delos Island, and some of our table mates actually went to Delos Island, and they were kind of complaining about it because they said it was basically an island right in the middle of the sun, and you really had nothing to do. It was just like you look at the island and you go back to Mykonos. So we were kind of glad that we didn't do that. I think when we told them that we went to the beach and had like kind of a beach day, they were kind of a little tiny bit jealous, and they were like, we wish we would have done that instead. Because this honestly was a very much needed rest day for me. I said earlier in the video how tired I was this day and just how Santorini basically drained the energy out of me. But this was a nice break, and you can see it's a little cloudy outside. It started out very sunny. The water was perfect temperature, but at this point when it was cloudy, overcast, it was a little bit colder. But other than lunch, honestly, that was the only time that I did not that was the only time that I got out of the water. So I actually stayed in the water the whole time. I went kind of down to the public beach area, was in the water through that, and I actually saw a person who was going by selling homemade donuts for €1. And if I would have had a euro just stuck in my pocket somewhere on me, I probably would have got out of the water, went and ate a donut, and got back in the water and went back to Solomar, because they were side by side next to each other. So Mykonos actually has a lot of beaches, and when I was trying to find one, I come across this beach, which is called Calo Lavado, or Lavati. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but that's the beach that Salomar's actually on. And a few years ago, Lindsay Lohan had a show where she had her own beach club in Mykonos, and it was called Lindsay Lohan Beach Club. So in a few seconds, I'm going to show you a clip of where her beach club used to be. It was right next to Solomar, and I thought that was very cool once I found that out. While that didn't really impact where we were going and what we were doing, but that was the beach club right there. It looks like it's closed down now. There's really no one there, but you can see the LL, and that was for Lindsay Lohan. So that was really cool. And now I'm going to tell a very embarrassing story of what happened to me right after I left the bathroom. So after we got out of the water, we went to try to wash off in the bathrooms, got changed and everything. My feet were sandy, and I wanted to wash them off. So up on the hill over there by where they have like their little plants and stuff, there's this little water spout. So I thought, okay, this must be the wash off. It's a little odd, but whatever, used to it. So I went and rinsed off my feet, and there's these two little older ladies standing outside of the bathroom, and they start yelling like, no, 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 you don't need to use that, blah, 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 and talking in Greek. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. So I finished up, dried my feet off, and me and my mom left, and that is yet another reason why I will not be going back to Walmart, as if they will remember my face from however long it takes me to get back to Walmart. And then it took us a while to figure out whether or not we were actually going to get a ride back into Mykonos. So, like I said, the way they scheduled their taxis, we scheduled a pickup at the same time. We prepaid for it and everything. So we standing outside of Solomar, and everyone's just looking at us, and we're like, okay, we're waiting on our taxi, and we're like, "Are you sure they're coming?" And we stood there for about 20 minutes. The guy got lost again trying to get to Solomar. We ended up it ended up being okay, but it was a little iffy. I was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do now? How are we going to get back to Mykonos to get back on the ship? So another little panic, but everything worked out fine. And then he kind of dropped us off here. We told him to not to worry, to like drive us back into the town area. We could walk there because we basically knew where we were. So once we got back to this area, we both felt a little more comfortable. And I thought that was a really cool fish pillow and interesting that that was carved into the road. And then we got some gelato. This is the food I chose in Greece to eat. Pizza and gelato. Paprika. Paprika Pringles. Tzatziki. And then it was time to go back on the ship. So you can see that little convenience store we went into. That was really cool. I wish I would have got some snacks and been a little adventurous. We also saw some fresh baklava in another store. But then got back on the ship and just had a slow evening. So we did go to dinner. I do remember that everything was good, but unfortunately, towards the end of dinner, my gallbladder started acting up and I got very sick. We had to go back to the room early and miss the Mickey Color Spin Party, which is what I had been waiting for the whole trip because we never got to see that. But I did have to go back. I didn't throw up or anything. I just decided to start taking my medicine at the beginning of dinner and didn't have any issues after that from this night on. But I would like to thank y'all for watching this little video. It's a little short and a little random videos, but if you're liking this series, please like and subscribe, and the next time we will see you in Athens. And this was our talent animal, the crab.